What is up, Pats Nation? It is Patriots Global back here with another video, and we have talked about so many draft prospects just on this video. I mean, we've done individual draft prospects, we've done my entire Patriots 7-round mock draft where we talked about 12 different prospects into the draft. We've talked about offensive linemen, we've talked a lot about wide receivers and tight ends. We've talked a good amount, too, about some defensive ends and defensive tackles. We've even talked about some corners and safeties. But one position we have just not talked about on this channel, really, is quarterbacks. Quarterback draft prospects going into this draft. The main reason for this was because me and a lot of other people did not see the Patriots selecting a quarterback really at all in this draft. If it was going to be, a later round type of quarterback, like a 6th, 7th round type of quarterback like they did with Danny Etling. But then you start to hear about how the Patriots are meeting with a bunch of different draft prospects. They've met with Daniel Jones, I believe. They've met with Will Grier, who obviously is the topic of this video, and some others, but it really shows that maybe the Patriots will be drafting a quarterback, and maybe they're looking into these quarterbacks a little bit more than we expected. It also came out a little while ago that supposedly someone in the Patriots organization, a few people in the Patriots organization, believe that Tom Brady could retire next year. So if that is true, then obviously the Patriots could be looking to get a quarterback this year and not in the 6th or 7th rounds. Also, some of you guys might be like, didn't you post this video for like 10 seconds earlier today? And yes, I did. I made an entire video on Will Grier already. I literally I edited it, and it took me a while. This was a 15-minute video that I was editing. Finally edited the full video, uploaded it on YouTube, got it fully uploaded, got everything just complete with the video. You guys started commenting just to find out that it was the incorrect audio. I go to check out the audio and cannot find the Will Grier audio that I recorded. So we are re-recording it. So please, guys, well, first of all, happy Easter. But second of all, please make my day and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that like button. Leave a comment in the description below. Well, not the description, but the comment section below. And while you're at it, please make sure you guys share this video with seriously everyone you know, anyone that you think would like this video, that would like to join the Patriots Global family and help me of making my dream come true, being able to do this full time and make a living off of this, make more videos for you guys, and become a Patriots NFL football commentator. So enough said. Will Grier, guys. I mean, some people have asked me about this guy coming to the Patriots, and I'll be totally honest. I didn't think much into it because there was a point that Will Grier was, even to this day, truly, he's talked about as one of the higher, quarterback draft prospects. At least that's how it's been made to seem. So, I never really had the Patriots selecting him until I start doing my research and I find out a couple of different things, and Will Grier has actually dropped in his draft projection. He is now expected to go somewhere between the 3rd or 4th round. They are saying that he's more of a 4th round projection though. And you might be asking yourself, well, why is that? You've heard this guy's name a lot, so why is he dropping all of a sudden so much? Well, for one, he did not have the best NFL combine. This was a guy going into the combine. He was very highly talked about. He was, again, supposed to be one of the higher quarterback draft prospects. But, after the draft, he did not perform too well. He didn't do terrible or anything like that, but he did not impress as well as a lot of people were hoping. But most importantly, the reason that he is falling is because NFL experts and scouts are very worried about his arm strength. Now, when I say his arm strength, I'm not talking about his, ability to be able to launch a football down the field. Go ahead and check out this guy's highlights. You can see that he can launch a football down the field. He can do it. There's no doubt about it. But they are concerned with how he throws the football. So with Will Grier's throwing, it's something that I actually pointed out when watching his highlights pretty much right away, was that something looked off about the way he was throwing the ball. He is a guy that throws the ball with his arm and his upper chest. He uses his pretty much upper body strength and, his arm to throw the football. And anybody that has played football, anybody that really knows anything about being a quarterback in general, that is not the correct way to throw the football. You have to use your hips, that you have to drive through especially, and, use your hips, and that is how you throw a football. A mix of your arm, your chest, but most importantly, your lower body, using your legs and your hips to also drive that ball out of your hands, and that's something Will Grier does not do. Like I mentioned, he just uses his arm and he uses his chest, and he does not use his hips or his lower body whatsoever. And because of that, a lot of his passes are lobs. And I'm not talking about, throwing the ball down the field and, throwing a lob pass. I mean, he could throw a 10-yard pass and it looks like a lob pass. He's not a guy that throws these bullets. And again, that goes back to the fact that he is not using his lower body. Basically, NFL experts and scouts are very worried about how long the ball actually takes to get to the receiver. Now, again, go ahead, guys, and seriously, if you want to know what I mean, just look at his highlights. They're worried about the height of the ball. They're worried about the velocity of the ball and truly how long the ball takes to get out of his hand, but most importantly, the amount of time that it takes the ball to get out of his hand and get to the receiver. Obviously, just saying that, that isn't good, but it isn't good for many reasons. I mean, it doesn't matter where a defender is on the field. And I mean, you're going into the NFL now. There is very tight windows with elite players, way better than college, because as we all know, college is, going from college to the NFL is like 10 times harder. So if he's throwing a ball and it takes the ball a little while to get there, the defender will, one, have time in order to work his way back to the ball, but two, it will give him that opportunity to truly make a play, whether that is just a pass deflection. But more importantly, what is more likely to happen is for a defender to get that interception, which obviously would result in more turnovers. Grier spent his first season with the Florida Gators and finished his last 2 seasons out with the West Virginia Mountaineers. He is a pocket passer that put up pretty exceptional numbers in his 2 years with West Virginia. Last season, he was able to rack up 3,864 yards, 37 touchdowns, and was able to do it with a 175.5 quarterback rating. A lot of the issues that Will Grier has is because of how he throws the ball, pretty much everything I've talked about so far in this video, and just ultimately his mechanics. That is something that he could easily get fixed. He could get that fixed with time, with, a good mentor, especially with someone like Tom Brady, but most importantly, with right coaching, with the right teaching. Bill Belichick and the Patriots coaching staff. And because people really like to focus on the big things such as, does he have perfect accuracy? Does he make enough big plays down the field? Does he have an arm big enough to throw, a 90-yard touchdown bomb when you need it? Because that's what people look for. They miss out on so many other important things. And those are things that Will Grier has, such as timing, decision-making, and his ability to have good reads. Now, I'm going to go in depth with each of those a little bit. So as for his timing, Will Grier has just such good timing. Now, a big part of that is going to come to the ability of the offensive line he has. Now, if he was to get drafted to the Patriots, of course, they just seem to always work on that offensive line. They always seem to have a top-tier offensive line. It's something they always work for. So that's something that shouldn't be a worry. If he is given time in the pocket he is able to really make good plays. Then you look at his decision making, and he isn't a quarterback who's going to just make a bunch of stupid mistakes. He thinks about the moves, and he thinks about the plays, and he thinks about the outcome. That's something that Tom Brady does, and it's something that you can't just replace. Like I've said already, guys, there are certain aspects you can teach, certain things you can fix with quarterbacks. I mean, with every NFL player in each position, but right now we're talking about quarterbacks. And, learning timing, good decision making, and good reads, it can come with time, but ultimately it's something you can't teach. And Will Grier already has that. The mechanics and just the way he throws the ball is something that has to be worked on, and it can get worked out on. And a big reason that he makes such good decisions is because he is such a smart guy. He has a really nice football IQ, and he is really able to read the field. Something you always hear about with Tom Brady is him switching the cadence because he's able to read a defense. He's been in the league for so long that he's able to read an NFL defense, know what they're playing, whether that's man, zone blitz, just really anything that the defense is going to show. Will Grier has been known to be able to do that, to read a defense, to know what, each defender is doing, what it's going to look like, know that they're going to make mistakes and how to take advantage of those mistakes in order to make a play. So, maybe he isn't the type of quarterback that has that athleticism or has that talent necessarily to be able to throw a 50-yard dime without looking. But he shows aspects that we only see in guys like Tom Brady that could really make him have success in the NFL just in ways that most people don't see or most people overlook. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers were two quarterbacks that a lot of people underlooked in college, coming into the NFL again. Two quarterbacks that people didn't really look at. Two quarterbacks that people really didn't care about. And a big reason came to their mechanics and just ways they threw the ball. There were things that people didn't like on how both Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers threw the ball. Now, with time, that was fixed. They fixed their mechanics, and they had things mentally that other quarterbacks didn't. And it's something, again, that I've been saying you cannot just teach. They ended up fixing those issues with how they threw the ball, and now they are both two legends looked at as some of the best quarterbacks to play the game. Brady was an undersized quarterback. He was a guy, though, that was really good in those clutch moments. The guy that could drive a team down the field at the most needed times when you need the points. And it goes right back to Will Grier. He has that same ability. He's known for those same things. I'm actually surprised when I heard that the NFL feels that he could still pack on some size, and they're a little bit worried about his size as he's 6'2", 217 pounds. Now, obviously, me saying that, that is so different than Tom Brady. And even looking at the pictures, you can see that it's obviously different from Tom Brady. So pretty surprised that people still feel that he should pack on some weight. But, I mean, you've also always heard that with Tom Brady. Because of his very poor Senior Bowl performance, because of his bad combine, and because of those lack of arm mechanics, people actually have him just being a NFL backup, not an actual starter. So if he's going to get drafted by any team, he's not going to be a guy you plug in week 1 and becomes this difference maker. People seriously have him being a project, a guy that will be a backup. Will Grier is just a really confident guy. Most importantly, though, he is a leader, and that is who you need. You need a leader. You can never have enough leaders, but when it comes to the quarterback position, you need your quarterback to be a leader. And it also says that he would much rather press for a big throw down the field than to be safe and throw an underneath type of throw, which in that aspect obviously is not like Tom Brady. Now, things I feel that you guys should like about Will Grier is that he is a very highly organized guy, and he is known more specifically for being a very good locker room guy. And again, that is something that you can't replace. I mean, being a locker room guy. Obviously, Tom Brady is one of the best locker room guys. It's why he is so good at forming bonds, especially, with wide receivers, and that's something that then translates onto the field as a football player. I mean, we see Bill Belichick do this all the time, bringing in guys who are very good locker room guys. For instance, guys like Matthew Slater, guys who don't necessarily have as much of an impact on the actual football field, but he comes into the locker room and displays this mentality that kind of goes out through every other guy in the locker room, which ultimately then displays that from their mentality to how they actually play on the field. He's someone that plays with an attacking mindset, a guy who really has this downfield type of mindset, guy who doesn't just want to look at a 5-yard, completion every time. He has made some very close and late plays against teams such as Texas and Oklahoma, and that's something, again, that goes back to Tom Brady, a guy who can drive the football down the field when you need it, a guy who can make plays more specifically in close games, when you really need these points. He's a guy that is very crafty with his pre-snap plan. So a guy that when he's in the huddle, he's talking to the, offensive linemen, wide receivers, tight ends about what they're going to do, what they're going to play next. He's very crafty with the plays and the things that he runs. It says here that he early stares at the safety in order to keep him away from big help over the top. He is very confident and accurate when it comes to actually attacking the seam. He's also very good with accuracy when it comes to those standard throws. He has a really good ability to tack, bad coverage busts and flaws in defenses, which is something we see with Tom Brady all the time. It's something that he is seriously known for. So if a defensive guy is running the wrong route, or if he sees he's doing something wrong, for instance, say there's more men on the field defensive-wise than there should be, Will Grier could really get that snap off in order to create a penalty and get the, team a little bit more yardage and put him at a better place. And of course, that goes back to him being able to make great reads. He possesses deep ball touch and accuracy in order to drop it on top of the wide receiver in stride. He's a guy that can really climb around and move in the pocket when the edge starts to get heated. So pretty much when these edge defenders are starting to, tackle down on these offensive tackles and the pocket starts to collapse, Will Grier is, good at sliding around and making these slides in order to break free and either, make the pass or throw the ball away, or maybe even scramble if he sees best fit, which we are about to get into. But lastly, he has just outstanding feel for timing and more specifically ball placement when it comes to fades. Now, a couple more things to work on, a couple more things maybe to be worried about, or adjustments that Will Grier will have to make going into the NFL, is his wind-up release with below average operation time. He really needs to be more aware of late developing blitzes. So, for instance, it might look like a zone coverage, it might look like a man coverage, but last second they could end up blitzing, and that is something Will Grier will have to be more, aware of. His mechanics and his consistency do start to decline a little bit when he is under pressure. He gets a little bit lazy with his feet and throws off platform. He does not make quick pocket escapes and doesn't really get away with his legs. So basically that goes to scrambling. Will Grier is the type of quarterback that does not go to scrambling first, but he will scramble a little bit too much for a guy that is a pocket passer. But the problem is that he just doesn't have the legs for it. He doesn't have the speed for it. And especially going into the NFL with higher notched players, guys who are more experienced with this, You aren't going to be able to scramble, and also scrambling when you don't really have the ability to could really get you hurt, and that's not what you want. You've already seen that with guys like Carson Wentz. You see it all the time with guys like Marcus Mariota, and Brady has just learned not to do that. He also has had issues with his accuracy when throwing the ball when he's on the move. So when he's trying to scramble and he's trying to throw on the run, he has had issues with getting that accuracy. He has had too many costly red zone interceptions over the last 2 years in college. He also is too willing to take sacks, and you could look at that as good, you could look at that as bad. It could mean many different things. It could mean he doesn't get the ball off fast enough, or it could mean that, he stays in that pocket knowing a sack is about to come his way, knowing that he's about to get hit, but creating a little bit more time so he can make the play. It says here that he must be willing to get rid of the cape and just get rid of the ball instead. And what they mean by that is he needs to learn to stop trying to do more than is expected than him, especially going against what his abilities are. So by that, they're saying he must be willing to be a pocket passer and stop trying to scramble, get out of these situations and run. Instead, he should just throw the ball away. And he has also had excessive fumble totals when he is hit during scrambles. So really, a lot of his issues are things that can easily be fixed, especially with, him just learning, dude, stop scrambling. And then also, again, having a coaching staff, a good coaching staff to teach him better mechanics and truly how to throw a ball with his lower body to drive his hips through his throws. Because if he can learn to just use his whole body, to really use his whole body to throw the ball, to get the most out of his throws, then his throws will be quicker. They'll get to where he's trying to get to on time. So his passer rating, just him being a passer in general, will really go up. And then, of course, secondly, just learning to be a genuine pocket passer. Of course, there's times where you can scramble. Tom Brady is the last thing of a scrambling type of quarterback, but we do see it at times. So knowing when you truly should scramble, but not trying to scramble all the time to create yards, knowing that you're a pocket passer and you should just throw the ball away. That is pretty much it for today's video. Obviously, because this is a 22-minute video currently, you know that there's a lot to talk about with Will Grier, and I ended up liking him a lot more than I expected. I know a lot of people might not like him because they want a quarterback who is ready, but understand, if he's learning under Tom Brady and he has some time to develop, then there is honestly no reason that you should be worried. He is a very smart guy, a very respectable guy, great locker room guy, great mindset, great mentality. Just has to work out a couple of kinks in his play. And again, he shouldn't be a week 1 starter, so you're fine. But that is it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on Will Grier? And do you think that the Patriots should replace him to be the replacement of Tom Brady? Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you guys like and subscribe, as helps me, the channel, and even you guys out very, very, very much. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows we can go to the Patriots Global family. Other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.